Good. All the way back with it, and then the chap says to me, well, if it doesn't work the first time, you can just pop back, don't do it again. And I then have, yes, pop back down, so once I'm not done.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, everybody. It is 7:30, so I officially declare the August meeting of Catworth Parish Council open at 7:30 p.m. We shall start with apologies. Today we have received apologies from councillors Jeff Price, Ollie Burstall and Dan Green. So we've had confirmation from all three, haven't we?
And from Jonathan Gray as well.
And from Jonathan Gray as well. Okay, thank you. Okay. Item 90. Do we have any declarations of interest or requests for dispensations from councillors tonight? Other than just Chris's ongoing one to do with the clerk. So I know we do have 3 items on the agenda. I will be asking you to lead, Chris. Okay, thank you. Item 91 is the open section. I'd like to invite any members of the public who are present. If you would like to speak at all, you can do so for up to 15 minutes. Please direct comments to myself as the chair, and I'd just like to remind you that you cannot participate in any other part of the meeting unless we invite you to do so. So do we have any comments at all? No? No comments tonight? Okay, thank you. Item 92, report from Huntingdonshire District Councillor. Obviously he's not here tonight. Do we have a report? No report tonight.
I can just say something.
But Ian has something from District Council.
I'm also a District Councillor, but not for Catworth.
That's okay, thank you.
There is a proposal which you've probably seen all over Facebook, and it certainly hit my emails hard, is with regard to their proposed parking in St Neots, Huntingdon and St Ives, where the current administration of the Lib Dems and Greens have gone out to Capital and Centric, and they are proposing to build on the bus station in Huntingdon. The height of the building is 5 stories high. It's got outside staircases. It looks absolutely horrendous. It is not in keeping with anything. They're then proposing to build on the Prince's Street car park in Huntingdon, which is one that's just round the back, which the majority of people coming from this way, that's the first one, they would tend to use. So there, that car park would disappear.
It's also the one for the commemoration hall, isn't it?
Yes.
And also work for the new cinema.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. So that's the proposal. So I voiced my objections strongly last night, and I shall be doing so again later this month. Then the next proposal is in St Neots, is to close Tebbits Road car park and put buildings on there, but there would be 4 stories, minimum 4 stories high. Again, it is nothing in relation to the buildings that I pointed out to them. I said, you've got terrace houses there, and you've got no more than 2 stories if you look the other side. They are not, they're going to put, there's going to be no park or very little parking. So if you're going to the health centre, that means you've got to park somewhere else. Now, I don't know whether it was on the hoof or not last night, but his suggestion was, oh, well, we could put another level over the cinema car park or over the Waitrose car park. And I thought, you haven't thought about this at all, because you're going to get so many, all the people around there will be absolutely up in arms. What about all the businesses and everything else? So that's those 2, and then St Ives, it is the cattle market car park and part of the car park that's used by the smaller car park that's Waitrose. That's on its own. But of course, a lot of people can't get in that one if you're going at certain times, so they're all in the rest. So that again would be built all over. The suggestion was, oh well, we'll just put a second level over the top of that, so have another multi-storey car park in. But and then there will be more shops, or not shops, but sort of outlets. But then they're in direct competition to all the coffee shops that are already there. So it seems to me that we are not helping the existing businesses, we're actually creating more problems, reducing the number of people that can park, reducing, creating even more different types of businesses, but they're suggesting coffee shops and things like that. Perhaps that was the wrong term. But, we've got enough of those. We want other things, I would say, in the town. And then again, they were 4 stories high. Nothing in St Ives is 4 stories high.
Mm.
So I think they are now starting to realise they're getting a total backlash because they said they were going to put in a planning application in St Neots before the end of the year. Well, it's gone absolutely ballistic in St Neots, and I'm sure, and as I understand it, speaking to people, that it's gone now ballistic in St Ives following what's come out. So just to let you know, if you get asked, then I would suggest, you make your comments. If you don't think that's the right thing to do, you may well get, if you haven't seen it already, which I'm sure John would have mentioned to you, there's a car park questionnaire going round to parish councils. So I completed that on behalf of Grafton today, and I put in there, we don't want this sort of thing on those car parks, because I thought we need to make it clear. I'm getting complaints, and my division is not anywhere, is in Alconbury, coming round to Winnick and Spaldwick. It is not in those towns. But if you go into those towns, you want to be able to park easily and park whereas you can't. And all it will do is it will drive people in the opposite direction to Rushton Lakes. That's what it will do, especially if you're over this side and you think, well, I can't get in, I'm not going to bother, I'll drive there. I haven't got to pay. So, there are advantages all the way around, but, it will drive, I think, people away from those towns. It will have the total opposite effect to what they're trying to do. In the parking strategy, it says that they would only look to build on those car parks that were underused. Well, the 3 they've picked there are the most heavily used in all the 3 towns.
Well, St Neots has already reduced parking
Yes.
by stupid refurbishment of the market square.
Yes.
What a waste of money.
Yeah. Well, that's right, they took away all those.
And if Huntingdon could do with less parking spaces, rather than, because it's enabled them to pedestrianise a little bit more, make it more user friendly, why did they need to build a multi-storey in the Sainsbury's car park? Because it was needed, with the other ones still in operation.
Yeah.
Well, I think they need to bear in mind that they're all market towns, they're all
big
market
cities,
towns, and an awful lot of the people who go in are from the rural areas.
Absolutely.
And we rely very heavily on cars because we don't have
Well, that's right,
public
there's
transport.
no other transport
available.
to get you in
Exactly.
to
So
the...
we do still, for all of those
Yes.
towns, they're very much served by the rural community,
Yeah.
those towns.
That's right.
We need to be able to get in and park.
Yeah. So that's really the highlight. I'm
Right,
sure John
thank you.
would have mentioned it to you if he'd have been here. So that's that really.
Thank you very much. Okay.
And any other news?
Did you want me to talk
Thank
about
you
the
for
county council
deputising.
now?
Then
Yes, please.
item 93,
Yeah, right.
yes
Well,
please. If I could have the report from yourself
Yeah,
with
well,
your county council hat
with
on.
regard to the
Thank you.
local government reorganisation, you'll all be well aware that the government decided to delay its decision until October because they said they needed more time because Cambridgeshire and Peterborough was difficult along with Sussex. So we were the only two areas that were not determined when they should have been. So there is now a suspicion that Angela Rayner may determine it before the September recess, which is on the 14th of September. If she doesn't do it by then, it's going to be October after the parliamentary recess. So this delay also brings into question the deliverability of the government's self-imposed timetable for LGR, because they've all got to work out which are the divisions of each area. So Huntingdonshire now are looking at both. If we go into Mid-Cambs and Peterborough, so here we go into Peterborough, where I live would go into Mid-Cambs. Because my county division is split in third stays in Mid-Cambs, 2/3 goes to Peterborough. So they're trying to work out how you make the wards or divisions equal so that the people in Huntingdonshire elect the same number that they do in Peterborough, or they do in Fenland, or they do in East Cambs. So that's quite a large piece of work. It also will affect schooling, because if you're in here, Peterborough, you would still go to Hinchinbrook, but if you were saying Ellington or Spaldwick, Spaldwick would go to Peterborough, but Ellington would go to Mid-Cambs. Mid-Cambs, you've then got to look, their nearest schools will be in St Neots. So it will have quite an impact on how it's going to affect, work out. Speaking with the Chief Executive, she thought that if you're already in a school, they're not going to change it. There will have to be some sort of arrangement with the new authorities so that existing pupils stayed where they were. But if you were a new pupil starting in September, or whenever it starts, so in September 28, then you would be going to the new school. So they're the sort of minor, well, it's not minor.
It's not minor for house prices, because there is a demand for catchment areas.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you've got to go to St Neots, I mean, people have literally moved to go to Hinchinbrook.
Yeah. Well, that is the sort of issue that will arise.
You've got siblings as well.
Yeah, well, that's the other issue. I don't know. This is all just starting to raise its head now, because nobody has really taken it on board. The worst case is if we go with the Peterborough Labour MPs, where they've divided Huntingdonshire. If the whole of Huntingdonshire goes to Peterborough, say, in option B, then the problem doesn't arise, because the counties, the district is not split. It arises when they split the district. That is where the problem comes, which I don't think they've thought through. Personally, I don't think they've thought it through. So that's the sort of update with regard to local government reorganisation. As I've told Leslie, the B645 is now reopened. So hopefully you will see a reduction in traffic now, and I was very pleased to see that they've repaired the 2 potholes, and I'm very pleased that Bob managed to keep on at them. Between us, I think we got there in the end, but it shouldn't have taken that length of time.
No, but we are very grateful for your intervention, and the Highways Officer, obviously Bob Turner as well,
well,
for
Bob
him
Sterling's job
intervening.
there.
And
He and I were emailing each other nearly every day. And he said, I'm just outside in my deck chair watching them do it. And I thought,
And then he was
I should have said I'll come round and drop by.
but then they didn't turn up.
No, didn't turn up, no.
But yes, so it's done. That's
so
the main thing.
That was that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank
The
you.
Church Road isn't done yet, is
No,
it?
No, with
I've
Church
got a
Road they
meeting
didn't
with
turn up.
Stephen Bunker, because he's now back off from holiday, the LHO, so I will be arranging, I've got a meeting with him in Great Gideon next week, but shortly after that there's various points around the rest of the division that I want to drive him round, so Church Road will be one of them.
Did
So
because I know the clerk was trying to correspond with the contractors, but they didn't reply.
no,
Did you copy Ian in? Has he had our comments about that potential work?
Not all of the correspondence.
well, if you
Because
if you
we've
send
had
it
quite
to
a lot
me
of
now,
comments.
then I'll raise it with,
Yeah,
it
because
won't be,
whilst we realise obviously it's infrastructure, it needs doing. However,
Yes.
the way they were going to do it,
yeah, no, that's fine.
and the timings were very difficult because it's sort of
Yeah.
a third of the village. That is their only access
Yes,
route.
yeah.
So we had a few.
Yes,
There's a lot
send
of
it to
have you
me.
considered this?
Yes,
and
a
that
few
they just went,
considerations for them.
Send
They
it back to
didn't.
me and then we'll see
Okay.
what we can do. So
Yeah.
now,
So if Victoria could perhaps, she'll
Yeah.
forward you
yeah,
the correspondence. That would be great. Thank you, Ian.
and the other issue, I've
So
now
can I just
learned,
add to that last bit that I did
Mm.
speak to Bob about that just to see if there was any update before I came to this evening's meeting. And it was left after we were trying to contact them to say, have you notified the church, etc. They didn't come back to us. So no permit was granted, but no application has come in as yet since. So that's where we're at as far as I believe at the moment. Just to
fine, fine.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're all right. Then the other point I need to raise with you, I'm afraid to say Dan Weeks is on long-term sick. Therefore, if you've got an issue with regard to rights of way, you need to email the green infrastructure at cambridgeshire.gov.uk. So I will be doing that to find out what's happened about these gates. So I shall be doing that for you.
So that's green infrastructure, all as one word.
All as one word at Cambridgeshire. I'll be on the report, so we sort
So
of
it's
have that.
at cambridgeshire.gov.uk.
Correct.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. The County Council are also now reviewing its rights of way improvement plan, and will be sending a questionnaire seeking comments from parish councillors and myself. The rights of way improvement plan outlines what the County Council intends to do to protect and enhance our public rights of way network over the next 10 years. Well, you know, it's almost depending on what happens, that might. The County Council would welcome feedback on this important policy, as they know it affects rural areas in particular. Please look out for the engagement questionnaire, which should arrive in your mailbox during August. If you have any questions, please email CLAF, which is CLAF, at cambridgeshire.gov.uk. But again, Victoria will have that. The County Council has now extended and varied its current contract for highways maintenance to allow the new authorities under LGR to undertake the scoping and procurement of a new contract. The current contract has been extended to 2030, so which is just after the changeover, because a new procurement process will take a minimum of 2 years. So if the new authority comes into effect in 2028, they've then got time to do a new procurement. So, the new arrangements will improve the quality of service, provide better value for the council and council taxpayers, introduce incentives for higher performance and financial deductions for poor or late performance. So, if they don't repair the pothole correctly, then please let me know and I will inform. Because then, after the 1st of September, we will be able to get them back to repair it properly. So if it's not got the strips round the edge, sealing strips, then it's not repaired correctly. If it's got a yellow dot in the middle, right? Remember all this,
I know the
you're
yellow
taking
dot.
notes. If it's got a yellow dot in the middle, then it's a temporary repair, right? That is fine, because they've done that as an emergency to make it safe. They will then come back and do a proper repair. So Don't send me ones with yellow dots on. That's all I'm saying, really. But that's what it is. So you know, if somebody says, oh, well, that's not been done very well, and you see it's got a yellow dot, that is purely temporary. Right? So the actual new contract variation will deliver these benefits sooner rather than waiting to 2027 when the current contract expires. Ensures delivery of services and statutory duties through LGR, avoids the immediate cost of running a new procurement. So the county council's got out of that cost in effect. That's been forwarded or delayed till the new authority. Allows future procurement to be shaped by the new unitary authorities because they may have different priorities. So, you know, it'll be depends who's in charge of that. You're probably aware that the Mayor is proposing to amend or withdraw some bus services. It doesn't really affect Catworth because you don't get a bus apart from the Tiger bus. But the services that are proposed to be withdrawn are the 400 and the 401. The 401 serves Barham, Woolly, Buckworth, etc. There will, however, be a timed, demand-responsive Tiger bus that would serve all those villages, which is the same to me as a standard bus. But anyway, that's then the only variation would be if you can get to Kimbolton, the 28, right? If they're looking to extend the 28 from Kimbolton, where it currently terminates, before going back to Bedford, they're looking to extend that into Huntingdon via Great Staunton, Perry, Grafham, Ellington and Hinchinbrook Hospital into Hinchinbrook bus station. So that will be a 2-hourly service if it comes off, but it's only in the they've just finished the consultation, so we wait and see as to what the final proposal is.
Is that the Huntingdon bus station they're going to build on?
Yes.
Okay.
And the thing is, which is the other little tale, you know how many buses are in there at times. They're only looking to provide 3 bus stops. So where are all these buses going to go? Especially if the Mayor is creating more buses to come into Huntingdon. There's no thought out logic on here whatsoever. Nobody has thought, oh well, if we bring another bus in, well, where's that going to park? You know, but that's the
Is he also responsible for the squat loot?
the what?
The squats loos?
Oh, Cambridge.
Oh, I don't know.
Cambridge.
Yeah, we saw those.
They've installed a new load of public loos, which are the squat ones, the hole in the floor with the 2 places
I
to
don't,
park.
I
Like
don't
they have on the
believe so.
continent.
I don't believe so. I don't believe it is. I think that'll be the city council. That'll be a city council.
Parking.
I'm speechless, but there you go.
Pound ago as well. Pound ago.
And a pound
Is
ago.
it paid to
Pound ago?
squat?
That's true. Well, yeah, well, I was in London the other week and I had to go, there was a pound in there, and then that was, I shouldn't have
Was that a
deviated.
squat, Lou?
No, it wasn't. That was a proper toilet. But I usually, because it didn't take coins, oh no, you have to use your credit card. Oh, this is ridiculous. So I used my credit card, and then the chap said, well, it hasn't taken it. I said it has, because I said I've had a ping on my phone to tell me it's taken the bath. So he did let me in. I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm arguing to get into a toilet. But there you go.
The string quartet was very nice, wasn't it?
So, you know, tales you can tell, really. And then the only other thing, really, is to let you know, because I think I mentioned to you about 18 months ago, was with regard to coffee pods, recycling coffee pods. Well, the County Council has now recycled 35 tonnes of coffee pods at its 9 recycling centres, which includes Alconbury and St Neots. Podback recycles coffee pods across the UK to reduce waste and saving on new materials. Coffee pods are shredded and cleaned of coffee. The shredded pods can be made into new products, while the coffee grounds are used to create new renewable energy and soil improvement. Local residents are therefore encouraged to continue to bring their pods to their local recycling centres, which in our case is St Neots or Alconbury. So, you know, if that's something you want to do. But, you know, So they were all the things I had to tell you, unless there's anything else you wanted to raise with me.
Does anyone have any questions for Ian? Anyone in the public? Questions? No, I think that's very comprehensive, with a nice little interlude about
Well,
public loot
yes,
as well.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
You don't really need to know about
I
toilet
digress.
habits, but there you go, but that's your point.
You need to go onto iPlayer and watch some of the Look East about the squat loos.
Oh yeah, well, we'll try and Scott Lew's in Cambridge. It's
There we
news to
are.
me.
Progress.
Progress.
Well, the progress your hemorrhoids apparently.
Okay,
Can we
on
edit
that
that
note, on that note,
On that
shall we
note,
continue with our meeting?
do you need me anymore? For any other agenda item?
I think we've covered anything that would have cropped up. I
Okay,
think
well, I'll
we're
see
okay,
you
aren't we?
in September, hopefully.
Okay, good,
All
thank
right.
you.
Cheers.
All
Samantha.
right, well, enjoy the rest of the summer.
Yes, we'll do.
Probably headed.
No. Take care, all.
Right, thank you very
Janine,
much.
at that end of the table, are you actually sitting in a drop?
No, I'm
Because at this
why,
end it's
am
a
I
bit
blocked?
like a wind tunnel. No,
Oh,
it's full.
Would you like me to
I
turn it off
think
and
it's
put it
over,
on now?
over my head.
No,
Right.
I'll just move round. I'll just
On in the
move
hall
round to the
instead.
draft.
Last time, actually, we had this one off and it was on in the hall, and that provided quite good cooling without it. So, yeah. Okay, right, let's continue. Item 94, approval of minutes. Firstly, the extraordinary meeting on the 26th of March. This is still outstanding because we do need 3 councillors to approve these minutes in order for it to be quorate. Unfortunately, only 3 councillors attended that meeting, and we still don't have all 3 of them present. So that was myself, Jeff and Janine. So we will have to defer that until September, please. And likewise with approving the ordinary meeting on the 8th of July, we had 4 councillors present there, and only 2 of us are here tonight. So that too will need deferring, please, Clerk, until September meeting. Okay, item 95, the Clerk's report. Over to you.
Okay. A lot of this month I've been on holiday, so I haven't got a great deal to say. But yesterday I did attend cybersecurity training provided by the Parish Council Domains Helper Service, which was really useful. Actually, it was really nicely delivered. It was good training. I recommend if you're able to
Okay.
that you do it. It was over within the hour. It highlighted that although parish councils are small public sector organisations, they still can be targeted by cyber attacks, even if it's just to cause disruption or, even at random. So as the council, as the data controller, we need to make sure that our suppliers, particularly of our website and our email providers, meet appropriate security standards. And there was a mention of Cyber Essentials certification being recommended. So I will probably look into that at some point to make sure. Certainly, well, the email is fine because it's set up through the gov.uk. We need to make sure that the website provider is also has the Cyber Essentials certification. We also need to make sure that all our important accounts, so email, banking, website, cloud storage, social media, are properly secured. We need strong, unique passwords for every account, ideally through a password manager, which I already use. So that's good. 2-factor authentication and passkeys should be used where available, which is why we got the mobile phone set up so that we can do 2FA, so we're good with that as well. And we also need to have clear processes for setting up and closing accounts when councillors or staff join or leave, which we historically haven't been great at. Other key measures are keeping equipment and antivirus software up to date, being careful with our downloads, maintaining secure off-site backups. And our use of OneDrive is a positive measure in this respect, because cloud storage helps protect data if equipment gets lost or damaged or stolen. The training also recommended regularly reviewing and removing old data and unused access, which is something I do think we need to look at, how much data we have historically going back that we actually need to keep. I think we have a lot at the minute that we could get rid of. So I think a spring clean at some point would be beneficial. finally, we should all remain alert to phishing emails, checking sender addresses and being cautious with links, attachments and requests for information, because AI can now make phishing emails much more convincing. They can type in, you know, write this in the style of X company, and it can look pretty realistic. So never enter sensitive or personal information into our AI tools either. So yeah, I encourage everyone to take on that training. You should all have the link. It runs monthly, I think. And if you say you can't, if you fill in their form and say you can't go to it, they'll pop up when they have got the training available and say, actually, if you can't go to this one, how about this one? And I think it runs throughout the year. So it's worth doing.
So this would help us also to comply with our IT policy as well,
yes,
with
definitely.
councillor IT training. Okay, and this is free?
It's free.
Okay. Definitely recommend then that all councillors at some point, yes. We already have the links, I think.
Yes, it should be in an email. I've just noticed, came in as I was sitting here, the presentation, and I can forward that to you as well, so you can look through the slides. I'm allowed to share that with you. They also suggested that there was another National Cyber Security Centre do some training as well, which is also free, and they recommended that that would be the next step to do after this.
Okay.
So there's lots of free training available.
Yeah, lovely. So so you're going to email us that.
I'll forward you what I
slides,
received at the slides.
which will then also have a link on it to the various. Yeah, it shows who it's run by, and we can then, and any others can then access that, can't we?
Yeah.
From that email. Okay, thank you very much. Super.
Did I see something from you about adding something to my report? I didn't look until I came here. About councillors' questions being omitted. Do you just want me to mention that that's the case? Okay, so in error, the councillors' questions has been omitted from the end of this agenda, but it will be added back in to our September meeting going forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
And that's everything.
Lovely. Okay, thank you very much. Good. Item 96, planning. 96.1, we have a planning application to consider as to whether we recommend approval or not. And this is in respect of a first floor extension, front, side and rear of 22 Station Road.
It's no extension at the front, it's the garage going down the side and across the back.
Oh, okay, I'm just reading off what we've put here. Okay, so it's the side.
Yes,
Side
so
and then
there's
going off
the
the back.
garage at the side, which is flat roofed at the moment, and that's what they're proposing to go for first floor, and then they're doing a first floor only extension across the back as
Across
well.
the back, okay. So as you mentioned this, would you like to
Yeah,
start off with any comments?
I am not in agreement with it because of the impact on Pebble Cottage at the front on the road, because the whole building is going to literally come at them, and there's 2 windows in the first floor. There was, as far as I'm aware, and I haven't been around to check in actual visual, there was one window on the first floor, the existing first floor, but of course it is further away. The 2 new windows are going to look directly down into them, and it is going to impact their light, so I think it's overbearing on Pebble Cottage. I think it is with the side extension and across the back. I think it's almost outgrowing its plot. I don't know if that's an actual official planning thing. There is a heritage station.
We can comment. Yeah,
Yes,
we can comment on massing.
Yes, because
Yes.
that's a very busy corner. It is going to be very visual, but I think mostly my objection is the impact on the neighbour, and reduction of light to their garden, and the overlooking nature of those 2 windows leaping possibly, 4 metres further towards them than the single window that was already there. So,
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Going around the table, Janine, do you have any comments?
I do, yes. I've also put that I would be uncomfortable to support it at the moment. The information pack that I went through did give plenty of information, but for me it didn't give any current rear view of the property, it just gave proposed, so it wasn't able to judge the impact in my opinion. So looking through what I did have available to me, I came to exactly the same conclusion, that by moving the whole of that extension closer to the boundary felt quite crowded, and I actually took a walk up there yesterday before to take a look, and when you see it in real life it did feel very close to the boundary property, the bordering property. So yeah, I would feel very uncomfortable supporting it on what I've seen.
Okay.
if the neighbouring property was facing the same way, then they can kind of get as close as they like, because they look out, but where you've got one backing onto the other.
Yeah, they're at right angles to each
Yes.
other, aren't they? So,
Yes.
I think
so
they
it's
did
directly
make
onto the back.
I think they did make an attempt to try and manage the light situation, in that the extension that they plan over the garage is not at the ridge level, it's at a lower level, as if they've thought about trying to allow the light through, but I still think it's going to be really close, because I think they said that the extension will be a further 2 metres towards the boundary, and I think the height of the vehicle at the building as well, I think it would be really quite impacted.
Because the whole building's going to come out the more, isn't it?
Yes,
because
very much so.
the garage is fairly visible above the fence.
And again, on the document that they supplied, there was no clear photograph of the garage as it is to make that comparison. It was only because I walked up there and physically looked at it to sort of gauge it that was available, that I could do that. It wasn't available from the document, I don't think.
Okay, thank you, Janine. Chris, do you have any
I'm
comments?
of a similar view. I think it looks like about a 50% increase in size in a single application. That's a lot to go for, and I do think it would be overbearing. I know Pebble Cottage have put their own objection in, and they've reiterated the points that you've made there, Councillor Millington. I'd be inclined, certainly the windows that look out in that direction are not listed as being privacy glass. That perhaps is something that could be considered, but even so, I'm concerned about the prominent position on the corner of Station Road and Yeovil Close, and it would be very visible given it's effectively almost doubling in size. The first story extensions included as well make it look a lot larger than perhaps it is in reality. So I'd be inclined at this stage to not support the application.
And the heritage statement does actually state very clearly that it is adjacent to the conservation area.
Yes, it's not actually in, but it is adjacent.
No, it's adjacent to.
So it will be seen from other heritage properties.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I too, I went this afternoon and had a good stand around that corner and had a little look. I agree, it looks like it's going on for 50% increase in size. I felt that it would be incongruous compared to the surrounding houses. It would become overbearing, as you've all said, and the massing concerned me, but particularly the overlooking. In fact, the way the back gardens are laid out, it wouldn't only overlook number 20, but also number 18 as well, because number 18's garden comes round behind number 20's before you then get to their back garden. So it would overlook that portion of that back garden as well.
And
So-
of course the property to the left of it as you look at it. last property that's listed as global.
Yes.
I mean, that already is a very large property, but it would be dwarfed almost by this application.
Yes, because both of those cottages there, number 20 and 18, are both quite small. They're low-level rooms. Even by the, as you quite rightly said, that first floor extension, they have given it a lower roof line, but I don't believe that the internal measurements, ceiling heights, are going to be any lower. They've just lowered the roof.
And they've
so
got big dormers as well,
Yes.
so
they have got
it's
the
still
dormers.
bulky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I concur with everything that you've all said. So we should take a vote anyway, that's what we're supposed to do, as to whether we are going to recommend approval or not. So could I have a show of hands, please, for all those who would recommend approval of this particular planning application? No? All those who would recommend rejection of it? So that is unanimous. So the reasons being then for the clerk to complete, because this has to be in tomorrow, I think, doesn't it? Yes. So the reasons being will be to do with massing, overbearance, the impact on smaller heritage cottages adjacent to it, numbers 20 and number 18. The potential loss of light to number 20, and also overlooking number 20, with the fact that there are windows on that side elevation. I think we could comment that the overlooking could be resolved if either of those windows are removed, or they are obscure glass. But if they're opening windows, you could still get overlooking. No light.
Get rid altogether.
So I think, is that everything covered there?
I'll do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Item 96.2, the North Huntingdon and St Ives Cumulative Impacts Group. 2.1, Councillor Chris Bales to report on the first full meeting of the restructured group on the 9th of July.
So that meeting did go ahead at Pathfinder House in Huntingdon. It was very well attended by not only parish councillors but parishioners and a good number of county councillors, mainly St Ives Direction, Councillor Bewley, Councillor Gardner was there as well. It was largely a presentation on the importance of getting the infrastructure in place before you build. So this is what many of us have been saying all along, that it's important that the infrastructure is there to service any large-scale developments, be it industrial or housing. So they're at a crunch point at the minute to decide whether they continue on with the objection as they were originally planning, because that sets a time limit of the end of this year. If the group are unable to meet that, they will have to then go in for this alternate presentation, which is a lot more work. And it's to do with Regulation 19, when the window is open for public comment. So that Regulation 19 window closes, it's expected sort of December time, late December, possibly pushing into early January or February, depending on what happens with the mayor and LGRs and all the rest of it. So there's not a lot of input from us required at this stage, apart from a watch and wait and to support. One thing they have asked is that we forward out the survey and get people within the parish to complete the survey, which I think we did
Yes.
before we've done it. So hopefully, just a reminder for members of the public present and for the video, please do, if you're able to, and I'm minded to, fill that survey, because it will all go to supporting how we develop local communities around it.
Do we have the link to this on our website?
Yes,
So it's under the news section.
it should still be
Thank
near
you.
the top. Yeah.
So anyone who wants to can access that from our website, going back through the news.
You could always pop it back on Facebook again as well, just a reminder for people just to put
Yes,
it back up to the
yes,
top.
that would be a good idea, yes. So would you be able to do that?
Yeah,
then,
I'll do
please?
that.
Yeah. Thank you. So next meeting for the group? Is that set?
Sometime in the middle of September.
Mid-September, okay. Lovely. Okay, well thank you very much for going along to that, because I know that was on one of our heatwave days as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a challenging day.
Pathfinder House is nicely air conditioned,
Oh, well that's
so
something.
it wasn't such a hardship.
So thank you very much, Chris, for keeping on top of this and for your participation. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. If thanks that any of us give can be minted as well.
Mhm.
So I'll give some thanks earlier to Ian and Bob and to Chris. Yes, thank you. And then 96.2.2 to note provisional date for all parish representatives to attend a meeting on Wednesday the 23rd of September. And this will be going back to the original reason we got involved in the group before it sort of expanded, is the developers of Brampton Cross will be present. So that'll be after our next meeting, won't it? So we'll do a reminder again at our next meeting. So if this second part here we could have on September's agenda as well. Just to remind us, that would be lovely. Thank you very much. Item 96.3, the HDC's local plan to do with additional preferred sites. Action taken since the last meeting. You'll all remember that we agreed the last meeting that we would put a public statement out on our website under the news section, which has been done, to do with a third party comment about which mentioned the parish council. I've copied that statement and sent that to HDC local plan, their specific email address, asking them to note our comments as well. So I'm not actually expecting them to respond back on that. That should be noted. So are you okay?
Or if I sit wind tunnel.
Oh, you're in the wind tunnel. Okay. So I think that concludes comments on the local plan for the moment until we get any more information from HDC. So if there are no more comments on that item, if that can now be removed from the agendas, please. Item 96.4 is the Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Minerals and Waste Local Plan Review. So as well as HDC reviewing their local plan, Cambridgeshire County Council are doing likewise. Because they're responsible for a lot more services than HDC, they have to look at minerals and waste. So they have a scoping consultation and call for sites. Call for sites is not for building, this is just to do with the minerals and waste, which opened on the 3rd of August and is open until the 12th of October. So it's a 2-month window for consultations. The reason is I have looked into this. The consultation document itself is very detailed. It's in 4 very large sections. It's all free text boxes, so there's no tick boxes at all. So you've got to really think about what you're saying. Each of the main 4 sections have a separate paper, consultation paper for you to look at. The first of them is the big one, and this runs to over 80 pages. And this details their proposals and gives a full review guide. The second section is about their engagement strategy. That runs to 9 pages, so that's not quite so much to have to read and then comment on. Then their site assessment and selection runs to over 20 pages, so a bit more to look at. And then their cross-border issues. I assume they mean not cross-border as in the UK, but across Kent, hopefully, across their border. And that runs to 7 pages. So if we feel that we should be looking at this and consulting, we are still within Cambridgeshire here, and I know in the past, going back through history, we have had minerals extraction gone on in this area. So and Cambridgeshire County Council have commented on HDC's local plan with regard to some of our call for sites. They have made comments about the fact they would want to reserve their right to look at mineral extraction rather than having building going on some of these sites. So that being the case, although it is a very detailed consultation, firstly, then do we think we should be trying to comment on it? We have got a while to do it, so it can be done collaboratively. Is this something that we feel that we should at least have a look at and have a bit of a go at? How do we feel? Chris, you'd like to?
Yeah, I think we should give it some consideration,
Okay.
at least understand what it is.
I understand what it is, yeah, so for us all to have a bit of a read of it. Janine?
I did open the first document and saw the 80 pages. And I was just trying to pull the bones out of it, and I failed. So thank you for putting that to me in a way that I can understand. It just seemed that it perhaps is something that we should be taking a look at then.
Okay.
So where is it?
It's been sent an email a little while ago. What I would perhaps propose, because each section is very detailed, is perhaps that different councillors look at each section. It's the first section is the big one, which I think ultimately we
But
should
if we're
all
going to
have
be
a look
involved,
at.
we need a good overview of the whole thing.
We do.
So perhaps
Yeah.
we could just have a look at it first.
And then as far as actually doing the wording is what I meant when we come to do that, perhaps then we can allocate out and then we can all review and so on and so forth. We've got 2 months to be able to do that. So Victoria, if perhaps you could send the link out again
Yeah,
to all the councillors, that would be really helpful.
I'll do that now. Let's put it forward.
Thank you. And yeah, recommend councillors, unfortunately. A load of reading to make what you can. We don't have to answer every question, is the other thing it does say in the questionnaire. You can answer those things that you feel are pertinent or that you feel you're able to. So we don't have to answer everything. Okay. Yep. And item 96.5, the Planning Advisory Group. 5.1, to report on any updates relating to the planning status of 41 Station Road. This is something we were going to look into as to whether they need, we feel they need planning application, and whether we need to make any comments to HDC. Now, I understand we have had some issues with our email system. So the planning group, member of the planning group has done some work on this, but unfortunately not everybody has received that yet.
So I'll
So
send
this
it
is
again.
something we need to look into.
It's not just planning, it's change of use.
Yeah. All comes under planning, does it?
It's like
Change of use comes under planning as
completely
well.
different regs.
Okay. Is it still planning department though?
Yes. still goes through, you know, the enforcement side.
Okay, thank you. So once we've all had a chance to look at that, then we can have a comment on that, so thank you very much. And item 96.5.2, any other planning relating matters that are going on. We may have a couple of things coming through for next month, a couple of late things I've noticed have popped up, but I don't think we've actually officially been advised yet. So we will
I
see
received an
next
email
month.
just before 5 o'clock apparently for a new planning application for 53 Church Road,
Oh right, okay, that one's coming.
which wants comments by the 3rd of September, but I'll try and get an extension on that
Yeah.
so we can all consider it.
Okay.
The only other one that popped up today was the advertising board for down by the A14.
Yeah.
That's all. Which is
So-
advertising properties in Gullington.
Oh, is it? That's what it's called. Okay. The location of it said south of the A14, and it looked like it was going to be obviously in a field to the south of the A14, which is us. Before you get to junction 16, so before you get to the slip road, if I read it correctly, which for me doesn't seem like the best sort of location.
There's one along there already.
Is that not the other side of the slip road though? As in the going onto the A14? This one looked like it was going to be before you come off the A14.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it could be
There has been one
distracting.
along there before.
Has there been one there before? Other than that, it doesn't impact us, and I don't think that came out before 53 Church Road. So that's been on the planning portal for a few days, so I assume we're not going to get asked about that.
Nothing's come through.
Okay, so if anyone does want to make any comments on that, anyone can do so personally. If the parish council isn't asked, yeah, you can go on the planning portal and make comments if you want to. Okay. And we will look at 53 Church Road in our September meeting. So yes, if you could ask for an extension, please. Yeah, thank you. Item 97, neighbourhood plan, to receive the monthly report. Neighbourhood plan team gave a detailed report last month. The same applies for this month. We're waiting for HDC to complete their strategic environmental assessment, which they say can take up to 7 weeks. So we're about halfway through that, so we have nothing further to report. Item 98, finance. 98.1, monthly budget monitoring was requested by Councillor last month, and everybody concurred that they would like to have information every month rather than quarterly. So Jeff kindly agreed to provide that information for us, which has been circulated to all councillors. Were there any questions at all on that? No, so that's just budget monitoring and where we're up to, how much we've spent, how much we've got left to spend. Okay, thank you. So I'd just like to say thank you to Jeff for doing so. It's very straightforward to read, nice spreadsheet, so thank you very much. Item 98.2 is the July 2026 bank reconciliation. That's according to what was paid last month. All makes sense there. So if we can say that has been noted, then thank you. Item 98.3, approval of August 2026 payments. The payments are all listed on the agenda in detail. One of these obviously are to do with expenses for Chris. He can't vote on this, unfortunately. So, and one is to do with Clark's homeworking as well. So the rest of us, are we all in accordance with those payments? Yes, all fine.
Yeah.
So could I please have a proposer that those payments are approved this month? So Claire to propose, please, and a seconder, Janine to second, and all those in favour, myself included, makes 3 of us. So thank you very much. Payments we were hoping this month would be able to be processed by Victoria and put onto the bank statement for us. She has just advised me this afternoon there has been a problem with that. So I've not had a chance to have a look to see where that problem is from the full authoriser position. So I will do that tomorrow morning. We will still need 2 authorisers. So as Chris can't authorise some of them, or Claire,
Okay.
so Janine, are you okay?
Yeah,
So
fine.
yourself and myself. From what Victoria told me about the issue, I don't suppose, are you working tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just that we may need to actually do so in person, because what happened when Victoria started to put a payment on is it went straight through and automatically authorised.
Oh, gosh.
So if the 2 authorisers are present when you do it, then I would be happy for that to happen. Yes. Are you available on Friday? Can't remember. Okay, so can we'll liaise outside at a meeting,
Okay.
a date within the next 2 or 3 days. Yes.
You were saying that the organisations are all a bit strange in there, aren't they, anyway? From what you could see,
Yeah,
you're
it's-
there.
Okay.
Seems to have reverted to single authorised.
Right, okay.
Didn't we have that once before?
We did when Dan did the first one. Okay, right. We can get round it anyway as long as we're present when it's done. Yes, so we have the 2 authorisers present to confirm that's correct. So if the 3 of us we'll agree a date. Yeah, okay. Right.
I think it's worth noting that the payment that was transacted through is a small payment for £35
Yep.
to ASCII.
Which is nice.
So it would ordinarily fall within the clerk's authorisation.
Authorisation as a RFO.
So,
Yeah.
as I understand it, the clerk was very careful to make sure that she picked one
Okay.
that was low impact, low risk.
This payment, that particular payment, which was the ASCII renewal, wasn't it? The renewal we authorised last month anyway, so yeah, okay, no, that's fine. Thank you. And to note that the Empower bill now is paid by direct debit, and the amount shown here of 10107 will be paid on the 21st of August by direct debit, so that doesn't need authorising.
Can I check that you've ceased receiving letters from them?
I haven't had any letters, no.
Because they've still not changed the address, even though I've complained a lot.
Okay.
But so you might, but I've said please stop sending
I haven't had anything for about a
default
month,
letters. Right, so that's
so
one step in the right direction.
okay.
Good, thank you.
Right, thank you. Item 98.4, approval of August 2026 payroll payments. Obviously Chris cannot vote on this, so we've had the full detail of the payroll, which with the employer's NI, tax, PAYE as well as actual pay. Overtime for June was approved last month, amounts to £799.27 total payments. If we're, obviously Chris can't have any action in this, if we're okay with that, could I have a proposer for that approval please? So Janine proposing, and a seconder please, Claire seconding, and all those in favour, with myself, makes 3 of us. Thank you very much. Item 98.5, progress update about the addition of the clerk to the bank account. We've sort of covered that off
I
already.
thought it was going well until tonight when it wasn't.
Yeah.
I have access though, I can get in, I have a card, so
Okay,
that is progress.
So that is progress, but then when you tried to enter the
Yeah.
payments,
Slow progress.
went into wrong. Okay. So still a work in progress there. I was hoping that we could do the upgrade of Dan to a full signatory, which was agreed last month, with Ollie remaining as your backup. Yes, in case you can't do them. I think we should defer making that change until next month till we know that you're definitely okay. Yeah. In case case they need to come in and do anything. Okay. So defer till next month doing that. Thank you. 98.6, outsourcing of payroll. Finance Working Group made a recommendation last month. The report was circulated to all members. Further to that July meeting, I was the only person on the finance group here. I can advise that no further progress has been made with regard to sourcing an outsourcer. That doesn't make sense, does it? You know what I mean. It should be noted that according to the clerk's timesheets, it takes her 15 minutes each month to process the payroll. So that's equivalent to 3 hours per annum, which is costing us, with tax and everything else, probably something in the region of 60, no more than £70. So it's not an awful lot of money that it's costing us by Victoria doing that. The concern from the finance group is that for her to process her own payroll is perhaps not the wisest sort of thing to do as far as governance is concerned.
Well, I don't think that actually has an implication, because that happens with every business everywhere where somebody is responsible for payroll, including paying themselves. What is important is the authorisation of the timesheet and the actual payment, which somebody else does, not Victoria.
I mean, I would add to that as well, that as far as all payments to Victoria are concerned, as you say, it's authorised before she puts it to council. We then authorise it in a meeting. We then have 2 authorisers to put it through the bank. So we do have quite a lot of controls there.
Somebody does the
In any
administration,
case.
that's the same
Yep.
in every business.
Yep.
I mean, if you were talking about 10 employees, fine. But I don't even know why it's been brought up.
Is it from the audit?
It was from
Yes,
the
it's
audit. It was the internal auditor who did raise it, and that's why it was brought up. Yes. But if we're in agreement that we're happy for Victoria to do so, it's not taking her long.
The authorisation system that is in place is rigorous.
Yep.
So
if Victoria, are you
we could use
are you comfortable
At the moment, yeah.
doing it? Yes. Now that HMRC talked to you. Okay. Could we perhaps confirm that then? Take a vote on continuing with payroll being administered by the clerk, for the clerk. If I could have a
I would
proposer,
propose that our
Claire to
robust system
propose.
stays in place.
and it is rigorous, good, and a seconder to that effect. Janine seconding. All those in favour? Unfortunately Chris can't. Yes, so I'm in agreement with that. So thank you very much, Victoria. We'll continue with that and we will take that off the agenda.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Item 98.7, we have the renewal of the Microsoft 365 to approve the annual renewal, which is due early September. We're expecting it to be somewhere around £85. Victoria, am I right in saying that this, in the past, because it's Microsoft, they don't invoice us, which means they expect someone to have a credit card or equivalent to be able to pay it, which as a council we don't have. We pay on invoice. So in the past, previous clerk has paid for that from her own personal credit card and then claimed it back as an expense. Obviously that is quite a lot to expect of clerks, but that is the sort of thing sometimes can happen. It does occur to me though that the ESET renewal last month, which was the internet security renewal, we did through Ask IT. So Andy at Ask IT, he did the renewal, he paid paid for it through his company, and then he invoiced us, and we then pay him. So is that something we can do with Microsoft 365?
Given that it was on Ramona's card last year, I don't know.
Okay.
But it actually still is until we hit and look, put another card in there. That's
Yeah.
what it's going. It's due to auto renew against someone
It's
else's
due to auto renew.
card until we change a card in there.
Okay. But is that still something that Andy at Ask IT
I
could
could
do for us?
I can ask him.
Okay.
Um,
I'm wondering, with the Microsoft 365, why it's due for renewal in September, because this new laptop we bought in August last year, which is when the ESET was then due for renewal, so why is Microsoft 365 not due at the same time? Because was it not all paid for at the same time?
30-day trial.
Yeah, I remember.
Ah, right, okay. And also, if we perhaps check back on last year's invoice from Ask IT for the laptop and all the software, whether his original invoice did actually include the Microsoft 365. Because if it did, it implies that he could perhaps do all that, handle all that for us. Because he doesn't seem to charge any extra for doing so.
we have an account basically with Microsoft, which I log into, and then all the payment details are within there.
Oh, okay. Okay, just perhaps a couple of things we could perhaps look into
Yeah.
for us. And then if that's not something that Ask IT can do, we may need to be calling on your goodwill.
What you've got to watch though is that if Victoria pays it and then we've got to authorise it at a meeting, it could go into the interest loading time frame. So you've got to increase the price.
Or could we not authorise it
Now,
now?
because it does say here to approve the renewal.
Oh well, in that case,
Do we have
yes.
the exact amount?
Bear with. Got to get back into it.
Because it just says about.
I think it is that.
on here.
But I will just check.
Because we could approve it subject to those subject to the checks being done first, and approve it. And if we can't get it on an invoice, and Victoria has to pay it, then it's already approved, ready to pay next month.
Bear with it.
Is it slow?
84.99.
So that is the exact amount.
Yeah.
And is that for 1 year?
That is for
Annual
1 year,
renewal,
yes,
yes.
Annual, yeah. Okay. So subject to doing those checks that we've mentioned, if we can't get someone else to do it for us and invoice us as we would like it to be invoiced, and Victoria needs to pay that on her own credit card, are we happy to approve the renewal of that? Yes, so proposing, yep, so proposing Claire, seconding Janine,
In favour?
in favour, yep, so unanimously in favour then please, yep. Item 98.8 is review of the accounting software. The previous clerk and council used Edge IT to do all the accounting. The finance group has provided all councillors with a report recommending that we basically ditch Edge IT and we use Microsoft Excel for maintaining the council's financial records, which Jeff is happy to set up those Excel spreadsheets for the clerk to then use, and he will give her training in that. It will be cheaper because there will be no renewal. It will save us quite a considerable amount of money. So we are on a 5-year contract, and which was taken out last year, and it costs us £201 per year. correct me if I'm
That's correct.
giving you the wrong figures here. To cancel, we would be charged 20% of the 5-year fee. So the 5-year fee is £1,005, 20% is 201. So if we pay the cancellation fee now of £201, we will then, for the next 3 years, not have to pay another £603. So it's not going to save us anything this year, we've budgeted for it anyway, but in future years, going forward, it's going to save us £201 per year.
How does the clerk feel about the change to Excel from the Edge IT?
From what experience I've had of Edge, it's very overcomplicated for the transactions that we put through as a council.
So you're in support of the change?
I think it, yeah, from what I've seen, yes.
Because you're the one actually using it.
Yeah, I need training up in Excel, which Jeff's prepared to do, but yeah, we just don't have that many transactions go through to have such a complex piece of software handling it. Really.
So if we do this and go down this road, how is making tax digital impacted?
Good point.
Do we understand that? Because the whole remit of central government is to get all HMRC-based transactions coming at them electronically. They're trying to get rid of paper records. And we'd effectively be going back to something very similar to a paper record. So in principle, I'm happy to support it, subject to it not causing a difficulty with making tax digital.
The fact that Victoria is PAYE rather than
No,
self-employed,
that's
does that have any bearing on the MTD?
Not making tax digital, it has a bearing on PAYE, and there is a tool that you use that is provided by HMRC that predominantly does the filing for you with HMRC.
So will MTD affect that at all?
It won't affect that, but it might affect other aspects of what we do.
Okay.
VAT claim back and all of that.
Maybe we should defer this until next month, because that needs to be investigated.
It does.
I don't think anybody here has got the answer to that.
No.
have they?
Absolutely.
No, I wasn't
And-
aware that MTD would have any impact
We
on
need,
us.
we need Jeff on this
So,
one, so maybe
yeah.
we could just defer this till next month.
Yes?
Yeah.
Happy with
Yeah,
that?
that's fine.
Okay, thank you. So to make a note, because I will refer to Jeff when he's back from leave. Okay, so Finance Group will look into that further. Thank you for raising that, Chris, thank you. Item 98.9, Community Infrastructure Levy, to discuss the strategic SIL funding, which is the application will open and be open from September through till November, so we will have a couple of months to sort that out. Whether we have any potential projects. I think last month we'd already suggested that as it doesn't open until September, there's something for councillors to consider over the summer. So I suggest that any discussions, unless someone has had a really bright idea at the moment and wants to talk about it now, I suggest that we defer this discussion until September.
Agreed.
We're a bit closer. Yeah, okay, thank you. Item 98.10, street lighting, to receive an update from Councillor Dan Green on the completion of the remaining street lighting works. In his absence, he did send me an email today, and he has been advised by the contractors that the Station Road photo cells should be getting fitted this week to complete the project.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions on street lights? Item 98.11, Village Matters financial support. If you remember, last month and the previous month we had some questions of Village Matters. Their committee have written to us answering all of our questions, providing all the information that we want. So we do need to decide on this. It has been deferred for a couple of months now. So we need to decide on the level of financial support. Firstly, if we're giving financial support and how much that should be. We've all been provided with the report that came through from Village Matters. So, do we have any comments we would like to make? Started. Janine, shall we start with you on this one, shall we? How are you?
Start actually.
Yes, you
So
are.
you missed out on the previous conversation. I do think the Village Matters is a really, really good scheme, keeping everyone informed. I think that the information they provided to us was really, really good and answered most of the questions I think that were put to them last month. I think there was just one thing at the back of my mind which I think we were querying, that they were looking to consider printing costs, because that seemed to be the highest outlay for them, and that perhaps that would have been considered prior to coming to us.
Yeah, they've got that in process, I think, according
Yeah.
to what they've written to us.
They're saying that I can't imagine that any change is going to be a huge change, but it was just something that crossed my mind that maybe that may affect the outcome just slightly.
What would it affect their balance sheet?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It may affect the amount that they are requesting or would like to get from us all, I don't know. But like I said, I can't see that the difference would be a huge one, so I'm guessing probably not. But yes, I think they answered all our questions quite thoroughly, and personally I can't really see anything that would not want me to support them. So,
Okay.
How much are they actually asking for now?
They're asking for 20p per household.
How many households we've got? 183 or something, is it?
177.
177. I've done the calculation
Yeah.
based on 175. Or have I? No, I haven't. I haven't done the calculation. I was thinking it was over 200 now. Number of households. Do we have the exact number of households?
We did one where we got it from HDC recently.
Is it in our elector? No, because that's number of electors.
I think there was 698 across all of the parishes. That's the total households that has been, and I think we had 177 of those.
Is that an annual or a monthly?
The 20p
That's
per
month.
month. So then
So
we
it's
have to, and then
35.40.
they have
Yes.
11. They only have 11 publications, not 12. So 20p times 177
Okay,
times
that's one
11.
lot.
And do they want it in one lot or a monthly donation?
One lot. So we've just done the calculation there.
389.40 for 11 months at 35.40, which is 20p per 177 in member households.
Okay, in 2025 we gave a donation of £175, which was based on 10p per household. So
Sorry, when was that, Leslie?
2025,
Last
so
year.
August
Last year we
25.
gave 10 pence
Yeah.
per household a month.
We're looking at 389. So any other comments to make with regard to the Village Matters?
The only thing I would say is that if it wasn't there, we would have a hole in our means to communicate with parishioners. It's an important part of our communication strategy.
It is.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, we
it's
are
the only thing that we have that goes through every single door. Yes.
I agree. I mean, I'd like to support them. I think they're asking a bit much. But Then they're not taking big bonus salaries, are they, or anything like that?
They're not. Their expenses are very low.
Yes.
You know, they do, it's mainly advertising is where they've got the deficit. So they're, about £1,500 down this year on what they got last year. So, and they have said that that is their main issue, is finding advertisers. So I suppose there aren't masses, well, there aren't any big employers within the area.
And the more advertising they have, the bigger the publication and the printing
And the
costs
printing
go
goes
up.
up. Yeah.
But also people get fed up of it because they actually just want to read it, not find a new window cleaner.
Yep. So I agree. I think it's a really worthwhile publication. It gets to everybody's doors. It gives lots of people lots of information about what's going on locally. I'm very much in favour of supporting it. So are we going to support it to the tune that they've suggested?
If that's what they need to stay afloat, then that's what we've got
We
to
can
do.
go with more, we can go with less.
So we'll, I think, not over everybody.
I'd be happy to propose to fund at the rate that they've asked for this year.
Okay.
Seconded.
Seconded with Claire, and all those in favour?
Yes.
Okay. So £389.40. To advise them, and that then to be authorised on the payments for next month. I think we would like an invoice from them in order to pay that, not just pay it out of the blue. So if you could confirm that to them, Victoria, and ask for an invoice, and we will pay on the invoice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, everybody. Item 98.12, the Village Hall defibrillator. I got a note for Councillor Ollie Burstall has been liaising with the Village Hall Committee. Obviously he's not here to be able to report on that tonight. Has he reported any progress at all to the clerk?
Nothing to me.
No. Okay, so we will need to defer that to next month then. Okay, thank you. 98.13, review of parish assets for insurance purposes. I've been doing that. It is ongoing. I have got quotes for virtually all of our assets now on a replacement basis, which is what the insurers require. I'm just awaiting quotes for the War Memorial. This one needs to go out. Well, how can I explain it? War memorials obviously are constructed by stonemasons. They tend not to correspond too well by email. They're better by doing things by phone, and they're out a lot. So, and then it takes them a while to get their quotes done. So I have it in hand, got photos done, they've got the dimensions. So that is the last thing that we're waiting for. So as soon as that's in, I'll let everybody know.
Thank you.
Item 98.14. We've had a request for discretionary donation from the East Anglian Air Ambulance. So they're asking for information on and their potential eligibility for a donation from Catworth Parish Council. So, do I have any comments on this request?
Yes.
Janine, yeah.
So, whether we give a donation is certainly one question. Going on to the policies that we need to review, I noticed that our donations and grants is one. And it does state that if we are to stick with our policy, we should be aiming to give the money to someone that will substantially benefit a significant number of parishioners, and that funding must be spent within a financial year. So if we were to give a donation to the East Anglian Air Ambulance, I'm not sure if we would quite fit in that criteria under the policy that Dan has amended for
The
us.
draft policy that we've seen.
Yes. Saying that, there was something that I saw on their website which really caught my attention, that they do offer, going on to one of our later points, free CPR and defib training 1-hour courses for 12-year-old plus. They are free. I've been trying to find out a little bit more, but you can only get so far on their website before you have to actually contact them with an official request. But when I was looking through the request form, it did state the training venue address, which kind of indicated that it may not be sort of like at one particular place in Cambridge. It may be that they would be willing to come to somewhere, maybe here, or I don't know without finding out a little bit more, but it was definitely something that caught my eye, bearing in mind the later discussion that we need to have.
So they'll provide that training free of charge?
Free, a 1-hour training course for CPR and DFib, which is exactly what we were hoping for with the last course that we tried to get off the ground.
Yeah.
So that was something which caught my eye. So I did have another little look at their what they do. I think the reason they are appealing at the moment is that they have one base at Cambridge, at the Cambridge Airport, but that's closing and they need to relocate. So they're trying to raise 8.2 million to fund their new base. The work that they do is provide pre-hospital emergency medicine, and in 2024, a 12-month period, in Cambridgeshire, 447 people were treated for medical emergencies, which is quite a lot of people. And I think that we are in a rural place here, rural location. We are the kind of people that are going to need an air ambulance, because a road ambulance is sometimes going to take too long.
Well, the A14 alone is
absolutely,
when it's critical.
Yeah.
Road traffic accidents.
Yes.
It's the air ambulance that comes in because the road is blocked
Yeah,
for
they can't
miles
get
in
through.
each day. No,
Absolutely, they
it's
can't
always
get
the air
through.
ambulance.
So
We see them coming in on flight radar all the time.
yeah, I'm really quite interested in them. On what I've read, I thought, you know, actually people of Catworth could be served, you know, by the air ambulances. Not something which is going to substantially benefit a significant number of people, but if those few people that need it,
We could do it training.
to have that service. Absolutely, we could do with the training. So I thought I'd just raise these points. I hope you don't mind, but it really piqued my interest.
That's good research.
I just thought that they are working hard to provide a service that could be really important to some of our people.
Farmers and horse riders.
Lots of collisions, motorbikes on the road here.
Well, if there was
Collisions on
a
the
serious
A14.
emergency,
Yeah,
if it, just looking in
yeah.
Bedford recently when there was that train derailment,
Yes, yeah.
the air ambulances came into their own with that
Yeah,
because it
yes.
was slightly remote where
Yes.
it was difficult
Yeah.
for the ambulances to get there because they had to go across the fields.
Their website does give, like, if you look at it today, it gives you all yesterday's incidents that they attended, and quite a few of them are like accidental emergencies, so people have clearly hurt themselves, whatever. And I just think, you know, you get like farm accidents, you know, that can be really very serious, and you don't have time. And the only way that they could get the time, maybe the air ambulance. So,
I mean, we could get something like a plane crash, for instance. You know, what if a plane dropped out of the sky onto Catworth? We hope it never happens.
And you get the military helicopter.
We would, but they would also be involved as well. You know, ferrying people, obviously, as they did with that train crash.
Farming accidents, horse
But it's
riders.
mostly those sort of things.
yeah,
Yes.
there seems to be an
Dog
awful lot.
falls over a lead.
Yes, that's me.
So,
As a
okay.
rural community, I do think
Yes.
that we would benefit.
I agree.
You know, if you're in the middle of Cambridge City, you might not need it quite so much, but here I think very much so. So I thought I'd just raise those points, and that they perhaps also lead on to what we need to speak about a little bit later with the CPR and DFib training.
So, again, very worthy work that they do. I wonder whether it might be in scope for a parallel award from the charity. That's perhaps something we can discuss
That's at
later.
the back of my mind.
The only thing we need to watch there, if we look at the charity, is the constitution for the charity. Forgive me, Chair, I won't take too long on this. The constitution of the charity has a phrase of must be able to make the award without fear or favour. So we need to distance a little bit any award or any grant that we supply from any training that we receive
Oh,
from
absolutely, yes.
going coincidentally the same
Mm.
groups or organisations. We just need to be clear there, but I think it will be, well, it's for you to propose.
Mm. I mean, the charity does have the remit of providing grants to for any purpose which is for the benefit of the parish.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we can discuss that later under the charity. And as councillors, we can agree to defer to the charity for that to be done, if we think that's more appropriate for the charities to support this sort of thing.
Perhaps another avenue.
Sorry?
Perhaps another avenue, a parallel donation. It sounds like they've got a lot of money to raise.
I think we need a bit of wider discussion on it, and perhaps we should have a look at it next month. And in the meantime, would it be possible to go back to the liaison person and investigate a little bit more detail of training that could be offered to the parish council, which, and then there could be a separation because the payment is actually made from charity.
Yes.
Well, I think at the
Would
moment,
that be possible?
yeah, I think all the air ambulance are asking for is information and potential eligibility
Yes.
for a donation.
As to how they
They're
would
not
go about
asking sort of, yes, as to how they go about asking. They're not sort of saying, you know, at this point, can you give us X amount of money? So when we have the grants and donations policy in effect, certainly the basis of the draft policy does have that form within it, a form for someone to fill in. So I think we need to get our grants and donations policy in effect,
Well, that will
Get
have
that
to be next
approved.
month, so perhaps in the
Yes.
meantime then
which isn't ready
we
yet.
could just email the person and say in September we will be ratifying our grants and donations, and we will then let you know what
what
process
the process it
is for you to apply to us
Yeah.
for.
Yes,
Do you
I
think-
agree.
I
agree.
received another email from him this week following up, so I can just bring something back to
Would
him.
that be okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. Item 99. Review and approval of parish council policies. 99.1 is to note that we have policy reviews due in October for 4 separate policies. What we agreed last month with policies that were due for review in September was that individual councillors agreed which one they would take away and have a look at and review for the council and then give their recommendations at the next meeting. So there were 5 policies last time. Fortunately, there were 5 councillors present, so that worked quite well. There happened to be four policies due in October. So if we could please follow that same process, as there are 4 of us here, and each of us, if we could opt to review one of each of these policies for the council and give recommendations in October. So the clerk is giving us 2 months in order to be able to do so.
Are the existing policies on the website?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll do freedom of information.
Okay. So the filming and recording of meetings protocol policy. As Chris does the recordings, it's probably not the best one for you. So Janine, would you like to have a look at that one?
Hasn't it?
Yes.
Go.
Okay. So this is for reports by October for them. Yes.
For the October meeting.
So for the October meeting, yes, please. The social media policy, now this is one which Victoria is going on a training course, information course at the end of August, which is all about social media. So I think until she's been on that course, which may give some further information as to things that we should or shouldn't be doing on social media, I don't think we can look at that. So whoever takes this on perhaps to then work with you on that after you've done the training, to then put that to council ready for October. So I'm happy to do that one. Yeah, take on board that one. And the last one is information and data protection policy. This has Chris written all over it in view of his expertise on these type of processes. So Chris, if you could take that one on board, please. Lovely, thank you very much. Item 99.2 is the grants and donations policy, which Dan Green agreed to have a look at based on the draft policy that we'd received, because we don't have this policy in effect at the moment. I think he did say in an email that he'd put it on the shared drive, but I can't find it.
I found it today.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my goodness, it took me ages to find it, but it's actually in the agenda pack for July. If you click on the agenda, right, it
Has he
opens
put it
all
in
on
there
and it's in
instead? Oh, right.
So we need to defer this really, don't
there. So
we?
yes.
Yes, so
It
we
is
do
in there.
need to. Right. Okay.
So that was one bit I have to say, saying about OneDrive. It would have been a lot easier through OneDrive because I really, really struggled to find it. I must have been looking for it for 45 minutes today.
Because
And
what
if it had
the
been popped
intention
in a
is that
folder,
Victoria's
just-
set up a folder for
yeah,
each of us,
I
so
either
anything,
down-
Or if you
Yes.
just sent it out on an email, it would have been easy, wouldn't it?
well, whichever.
Rather than looking in various folders.
Yeah. But it is on there. I'm pretty sure it's the agenda item for July. Click on that and it's in the drop down.
Ah, right, okay. Okay, I mean, I was in that folder this morning and it wasn't there. But-
Maybe it wasn't that one then. You're
Anyway,
questioning myself.
I have
now.
sent him an email and asked if he could actually put it on an email to us all,
Okay.
as it's obviously not
Easy.
popped up there. So defer that one for next month, obviously in conjunction with the air ambulance request as well. 99.3, data protection documentation. 3.1, to consider any revisions to the records retention policy, which I think the clerk was
Yeah.
looking at, because various revisions were suggested, I think, at the last meeting.
I think they were due to be suggested. I think, was it Ollie that took that away? Changed.
Did he?
I think.
So-
Anyone else remember? No.
Want to refer?
Yeah, I mean, you've been obviously on holiday, 2 weeks holiday anyway, so I wasn't necessarily expecting you to have time to do that work.
I get the
So-
feeling that Ollie was looking at that.
Okay.
I will check that.
Would you like to check with him then,
Yeah.
please? So that we can move that on forward. Okay. Thank you. And 3.2, Councillor Chris Bales was going to report on the alignment of the IT policy with the new data protection documents. So this is the suite of documents that Victoria put. So again, I know you've been on holiday for a couple of weeks.
It's on like that, and it does go nicely into the other document I'm reviewing.
So work in progress on that one then. So we'll defer that one till next month.
Yeah.
Yes, lovely. Thank you. And item 100, adoption and approval of new policies with regard to the new clerk's employment. As it's to do with the clerk, I'm afraid we do need to exclude you, Chris.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to leave the room on this, as long as you sit there quietly. Some things, if there's more to be discussed, we would need him to leave, but is everybody happy for Chris to sit there? Yes. Okay. So the checklist is the only one that I've recommended that we actually approve tonight, because we need to get the checklist done before being able to complete the documentation on the risk assessment. So that's been sent through to everybody. Are you happy with the wording on that checklist?
Yes.
Yes. So could I have an approver for that then, please? That we adopt that checklist. Claire to approve. Janine to second, and all in accordance with that. Thank you very much. So we'll send that to you and get that.
Yeah.
Yes. Get that sorted, which I need to do in conjunction with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, and then once we've done that, I can complete the risk assessment documentation for next month. Good, thank you. Item 101, highways. 101.1 is grass cutting. To note, the July grass cutting report raised no issues. Noted.
Yeah.
And 1.2, there was a parishioner query in while Victoria was on holiday, following the cutting on the 28th of July, questioning the necessity of the cutting in view of the fact that the grass has not grown. When they were cutting, all they did was stir up a load of dust. So I have to say, do we need them to be doing the cut at the end of August? Because there's still no significant rain and it's unlikely to be growing again. So it's a good point made that was it necessary in July? And
We
ask
can't
them-
make that decision here now because we don't know what's going to happen rain-wise. So really it's going to be a case of talking to them and saying, if it hasn't grown, please don't just come and stir the dust up.
Yeah, because we could ask them, we've agreed a certain number of cuts with them, but certainly in view of the last couple of years, those of you who sort of mow your lawns and what have you, you know, we've certainly still been mowing the lawn later in the year than we used to. So we could perhaps say if it's not, there's nothing to cut, could they defer that one and put it on at the end of the season instead, do an extra later one in the season? Because more grass grew last year in November and December than it had in the summer.
Just go ahead and cancel it then. Cancel August and put it
Yeah.
on the end.
Or, as you say, we'll wait and just see if there is
I
any
think we need
growing.
to speak to them in the meantime.
Yep.
Give them a heads up that would this be a good idea?
Okay.
And they might, with their grass cutting wisdom, say even if it pours all down all of next weekend, there isn't going to be enough to cut.
Mm. So, Victoria, would you be able to
Yeah.
contact them and have a discussion with them on
It's
that?
certainly not grown since the 28th of July, has it? I was
Yeah,
looking
well,
at
you
it
have to-
today. And
I
Well,
think
it
it must be,
didn't grow in
it must be
July.
about 4 weeks since we even thought about getting the lawnmower, and even then it was, I don't know why Scott did it then.
So if the clerk could liaise with the contractors then, perhaps suggest that,
Thank
make
you,
suggestions to them. Thank you very much. Thank you. Item 101.2, the Close Pass campaign, update from myself. This is run by Cairns County Council. They had said that they would advise us by the end of July if we've been successful in our application for this. Nothing's been received, so I have this week chased them up, sent a chaser email, nothing yet in. So, nothing to report there at the moment. Item 101.3, the 7-week closure of the B645 at Kimbolton in July to August, to discuss any issues arising from the diversion. Obviously we've already heard from the County Councillor, as we're all aware, that work was completed 3 weeks ahead of schedule, which is very pleasing, so the road is now open. Are there any issues to discuss as a result of the diversions?
We've also discussed Church Road, so we don't need to go over that
Yeah.
one again. And potholes
So
on the high street.
any further discussions? Any issues apart from extra traffic
I had
happened?
well, traffic monitoring is in the next one really. I've had a complaint from a neighbour about speeding on the high street.
Okay, can we deal with that when we get to the speeding
Yeah.
bit then, please? Yeah.
can I just add one more under the highways section that I was made aware of this evening, which is, two, Fox Road, the water leak down
Yes.
Fox Road. There's 3 leaks now popping there. Cells through the road.
Okay, sorry, can we deal with this under item 102.5?
sorry. You probably can.
That's okay, because that's where we've got sort of further highways limits. So if we can just, if I can tick off
Oh,
what we've
okay.
got left, yeah. So we have no comments on the closure. Church Road has already been discussed, and Clark will liaise with Ian Gardner. Potholes have been completed on the high street. Noted, they can be deleted from future agendas. Thank you. Moving on to 102, which is councillor reports. So 102.1, the Footpath Group Working Party. I've provided a written report on this. All noted? Yes.
Noted, and thank you.
Yes, so we've managed 2 walks, which was good. It has been noted that Church Lane, the brambles need checking again. They've been growing. So I was wondering if the previous volunteers would be happy to go and
It was
have a little
noted last
trim
Saturday.
trim down the back passage would
Yes.
be really helpful again.
We will trim the back passage.
Thank you very much.
We noted it when we walked through en masse on
Wonderful.
Saturday.
Thank you. It's not just at this height.
No,
there's
it's
quite
ankle
a few
huggers.
coming through.
It's the ankle snaggers as
yes.
well. We did both last time. We'll do
Thank
the
you
same
very
again.
much. That would be
And
wonderful.
we will try and get hold of the householder at the far end whose branch is coming right across.
Okay.
Not a problem for my height. It's the 6'2" pluses.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Thank you. We will leave that with you then. 102.2, traffic monitoring, because we now have Speed Watch Group, HGV Watch Group, NVAS, so put it all under one banner if you like. I've done a written report about the Speed Watch and HGV Watch. Any comments at all there? So it's all underway and progressing.
No comments on the MVAS
And the MVAS,
data.
no,
Just on the complaint from a neighbour about the stuff in the high street, because the lorries that have been coming through, obviously it's been bad because of the 645 closure, but the speed of them, and then they hit the 90-degree bend at the end of the high street, and it's just chaos. I mean, how there hasn't been an accident at the junction with Church Road, I don't know. But both of the bends at either end of the high street, and the squealing of tyres, and the motorbikes, and the tractors as well. The tractors coming through, they don't drive in a straight line, do they? I mean, it's almost...
I've not observed them.
No, but when they're coming towards you at 50, they're a bit...
Okay. Well, as far as the HGVs
I don't know
are
what can be
concerned,
done, but
the HGV
anyway,
watch,
passed it on.
if they go past at excessive speed, then obviously they get recorded. But all HGVs over the 18-tonne limit are now being recorded. And with the extra volunteers, they are trying to do 3, if not 4, monitoring sessions each week, and they're choosing completely random times. So much more random than they used to do with Speedwatch, because they've got more people to choose from, more volunteers to be able to do it. So we're hoping that as they really they only really started last week, so as they start to really get reporting on the HGVs, that the police will start to flag those up. Yeah, so we're moving in the right direction. So any comments, if you get verbal comments being made, please do tell them about the HGV watch. If those people would like to volunteer to come and help, the more volunteers the better as well, because then we can do even more monitoring sessions. So I think we now have a total of 10 volunteers, I think it is.
That's what the report said.
Yeah. So, but obviously the more the merrier, the more sessions that can be done. So yes, those people who are observing this, please encourage them to volunteer and come and help. And we're doing, and do let them know as well. So thank you. Now we have had an offer from Brinkton Parish Council, which has just come in today, I think, or yesterday. Yesterday. It was a little bit vague, their offer, as to whether it's to actually they were offering to give, or just loan us their spare auto speedwatch device. Now, I had a quick look up what an auto speedwatch device is, and it goes a bit further than just MVAS in that it records registration numbers as well, which the idea is it operates mainly during daylight hours because it can't see in the dark. But done in association with the police. There is a website about it, and it would then be for analysis by the Speedwatch group. So instead of them having to actually sit there and watch for the odd hour here and there, it would be more continuous data, and then for Speedwatch group to be able to feed that information back to the police.
Is that the one where you, if you've gone over the speed limit and the machine's picked you up, you get a sonogram in the post?
Well,
Because some of them do that, don't they?
the Speedwatch, that happens already. So anyone going over 35 miles an hour in the 30 mile an hour limit is recorded by Speedwatch, sent to the police, and the police will drop them a line, yes, and do that. So this is providing more monitoring activity, if you like. So I know that our Speedwatch and HGV Watch coordinator is sat here in the audience and would like to have a little bit of input on this.
I
He
propose
wasn't.
we close the meeting so that the member of the audience can speak.
Thank you. All in.
Seconded.
Yes.
Okay, so meeting closed at 9:26.
Thank you.
Mark.
I wasn't aware that anything coming.
No, you've been out all day, yeah.
So, we discussed this when we had the HGV watch lady from the police, who's also the speed watch lady for the police, and the police are not keen on these devices that record registration numbers, etc. They're not happy with them at all. She was very clear that she really didn't think that they were something that we should be looking at, because the police have yet to determine how and when they can use any of that information for any onward sort of processes. So I would prefer to perhaps speak with our contact in the first instance to let them know that we've had the offer, which is a very generous offer from Brington, but just to really get the absolute clarity as to what her particular issues are before we actually took that any further, or before the council took that any further. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
I think we also need to understand exactly what the type of device is that Brinton are offering.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to the actual MAS unit that we've already got, except it's got a camera facility rather than just radar facility.
Okay.
So it's much more invasive. I know Brington also have had issues where they did a bit of a name and shame on certain drivers, and that did not go down well at all within the community. So I just think we need to be a little bit wary of that.
Okay.
Okay. So as I have website for the Auto Speedwatch device that I have available, could I perhaps forward that to you for you then to investigate further and speak with the police contact?
Yes, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Thank
You do that. Okay. Yes. So leave it at that point. So if we could reopen the meeting. Thank you, Mike, for that input. Reopen the meeting, please, at 9:28. So we should do a reply to Brington. So thank them for their offer, and we're looking into the implications and our Speedwatch group. Yeah. As Mike's just said. Don't need to give full chapter and verse on it, but yes, we'll come back to them at some point. Thank you. Anything else about traffic monitoring? Any other feedback from members of the public? No. Okay, thank you. Item 102.3, trees and hedges. As one of my remits, I don't have any updates at all on there. Any other comments? Trees and hedges? No, so nothing to report there, thank you. 102.4, winter gritting. Any updates, Chris?
It's all been about pothole filling recently, so there hasn't been any movement on that.
Okay, so I'm aware that we're now getting towards the end of the summer, and I know from past experience Cambs County Council Highways have looked at gritting. Their gritting routes they tend to do sort of round about September to October.
Okay.
So it's probably time to start
Push.
turning that screw again
Leave it with
and
me.
trying again.
Yeah,
Yeah, before they decide what their routes are.
of course.
Okay. And if you need any contacts, yeah, again, I copy Ian Gardner in as well.
Okay, will do.
Okay, so I'll leave that with you.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much for continuing to do the best efforts on this. So we're still trying to get Church Road and Church End gritted, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a priority.
Yeah. 102.5, highways, works and issues. So this then brings in anything else. Again, update from Chris on the next A14 SAG meeting and any previously raised issues. Any updates at
All
all?
movement on that. I think end of September is the next
Right, okay.
SAG meeting.
Okay,
Right.
so, yeah. Right, we'll wait until that comes round then. Okay, thank you very much. And also to receive any other updates. So I think Janine wants to mention about the
Yes,
flash flooding.
3 water leaks on Fox Road currently. Anglian Water are aware, liaising with Cambs County Council as to how to progress, but there's no further update beyond that. And just in case it is of interest to anyone, just beyond our parish, Mickle Hill, Covington to Keyston, from Mickle Hill is going to be a full closure on the 17th and 18th of August between 8 and 4 to address 129 potholes on that stretch of road. Apparently. So if you've got any family that live...
Have they counted them that carefully?
Apparently, not 130, 129. So Mickle Hill Corner to Keyston between 8 and 4 on the 17th and 18th of August will be closed between those hours. And hopefully we'll improve that road because it is quite dreadful.
Okay. Any other comments just generally on highways, works and issues? I think we've covered off most of these things already. No? Okay, thank you very much. Item 103, the bench on Station Road. We were waiting for confirmation from Cambs County Council as to whether it's possible to move it.
It's possible, and they have no issues.
It is possible. Oh, right, okay, so we've received that. Okay, so in which case then, we're at the point where we don't need to decide if we want to move it just yet, but we do need to get the bench repaired. I know that a couple of volunteers have already put their name forward, Mike and also Jolyon, who are both keen to get on and get it repaired. So, shall we ask Ollie to sort that out with them? Because I know he's in possession of the bench at the moment. Yes.
Do we need to approve the budget for it?
We've already sort of discussed that in the past, I think. Have we approved any budgets?
No.
Because he's given his reports on the cost to actually repair, which was less than £500. Whereas to replace was more like £1,000. He couldn't confirm the exact amount because it depends how they get on and how much they can actually do themselves. But when I say less than £500, I think it was more around about less than 300. But to be on the safe side, less than 5. So, are we happy to approve repairs for no more than £500 so that they can get on and do it while the weather is good?
Would be happy.
Isn't that being a bench?
Sorry?
Being a bench
Mm.
and something that's nice to have but not necessarily an essential, would it be better putting to the charity?
Now, we did discuss this before, and I think because it's an asset,
Oh, is it on our register?
yeah,
Okay,
we can't
forget that then.
go to the charity on it.
I thought it was a WI bench.
They donated it,
But it
but
went on the
donated it to the
register.
village.
Oh, okay.
So it's our, yes. I think if someone was providing a brand new bench for a new location, then potentially the charity could fund that purchase. But as
Yeah.
it's now an
I
existing
know,
asset
we did it
of
for the
ours.
playing fields.
Yeah,
So-
we do have budget
Yeah.
for.
No, I
repairing
understand, I
assets.
get it,
Yeah.
I get it. Asset register.
So that the volunteers can get on and get that done, are we happy to approve subject to no more than £500 being spent on parts for it?
Yes.
Yes, so could I have a proposer for that, please? So Chris proposing and a seconder, Claire seconding, all those in favour, carried unanimously. We could ask Ollie to organise that. Yes. If you need any emails, let me know. I've got both of their emails. Yeah.
No
So
worries.
lovely, thank you. Item 104, social media presence. Clark is attending social media training on the 26th of August, so work on the social media policy deferred until after that. So we'll liaise on that, thank you. Item 105, Village Matters Report. Usually it is the 15th of August. After the agenda came out at the weekend, I was advised by the Village Matters Catworth coordinator that in fact everything needed to be in by the 10th of August because of the editor going on holiday. I had a look through the agenda and didn't see anything particularly worthy of going in a report, and in view of the time constraints I confirm there would be no report from us this month. So no report going in for a September issue. Item 107, the CPR training. So we've already sort of touched on this a little bit. So I think Janine's already said she's going to contact East Anglian Ambulance and see what their situation is.
It's purely a case of completing their online form, so I'll just use my parish council email if I may and see what comes back. I think that's probably a better route than contacting Keith, because we're still going to be hitting the same problem.
Yeah,
as our insurers won't insure us, and he's not got that insurance that would cover him. So, and I think that would apply to many other individuals unless they do it for a living. So I think the easiest option is East.
Yes, and I think it is some training we would like to initiate as we do have the CPR facility. And we had quite a bit of interest as well, didn't we?
I think it also
from people who wanted
useful
to undertake the training.
Yeah, I think it would be quite useful also maybe for an organisation like that, because they're still getting their name out. So, you know, it's jointly beneficial.
Yeah, it is.
And they get support from it. So we'll see where it takes us. But yes, I'll contact them.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for doing that. Item 108, to note the generic login details to give all councillors access to the members area of CAPALC's website. The chair and the clerk will still have their own logins, because there will still be some things that only we have access to, but it gives you a lot more access as a councillor if you want some advice on something. Noted on that? Yeah. Item 109, councillor training. Any training received, the clerk's already covered hers under her clerk's report. Anyone else had any training or webinars attended since the last meeting? No. Anyone else who's not here that we're aware of? No, none attended there. Okay. It's an ongoing thing. Item 110, correspondence. We had a full list circulated prior to the meeting on correspondence. Does anyone have anything they would like to raise as a result of any of that? Any ongoing issues or things that they think we should be looking into? No? I have a couple of things I did want to just point out to everybody. NALC, on one of their bulletins, the 9th of July bulletin for the clerk's reference, have a survey out on how councils operate, and they suggest it is best completed by the clerk. So it's just a general survey to help them, because they're there to help us. So I suggest that if the clerk could have a look at that survey. We're all happy for that? Yes. The Internal Audit Service survey, Jeff completed that because Victoria was away when that was requested. So that was on the 21st of July, we had that through. Just on the third page to note, 29th of July, HDC's Town and Parish Forum will be at the Burgess Hall, it's where it usually is. I've been every year for the last few years now. It's interesting, they have lots of trade stalls about all the different departments, so it's good to know what's going on. And that will be on the 26th of November, which I should be able to go to. Our previous clerk also used to go to these, but her time was shared between 3 councils. Obviously now we have just 1 clerk. Something perhaps for council to consider, because if she goes, obviously it is her working time to consider. They generally run from 10 until it's either 3 or 4, with an hour for lunch. So it's sort of 5 hours worth. So something perhaps for us to consider, not now, but for a future agenda, as to whether we're happy for the clerk to go. I think it is, personally I think it would be very useful for her to go, so she knows how the higher councils work. Yeah, so if you're happy for that to go on a future agenda for approval or otherwise. Yep. Okay, so we'll put that on future agenda then, about that particular one. The other thing is the 30th of July is Ian Gardner referenced the future of parking in Huntingdonshire and the surveys that are going out. It's already been advertised on Facebook and our website. Anyone can comment. I think it's quite political, actually, the survey, having had a look at it, so I'm not sure it would be in some ways appropriate for the parish council to do this, because we try to remain impartial. But for any individual who can comment, note the closing date is tomorrow, 13th of August. So I would recommend you have a little look if you have a chance before then, and complete that survey if you'd like to. So it's about whether free parking should be given after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that particular one. Moving on down that page, the 3rd of August is the Minerals and Waste Plan Review. We've dealt with that in the agenda. The final thing was on the 6th of August, another NELP bulletin, some more surveys. Firstly, they're looking to get some information about neighbourhood plans and the experience that councils or neighbourhood plan groups have had in actually going through the process. The deadline for that survey is the 25th of September, because NELC are trying to obviously get the government to agree to pay for them again. So they'd like to know our experience. It's only 5 questions. It'll take about 3 minutes to complete. My recommendation on that is that we ask the neighbourhood plan team to do that, if we're all in agreement with that. Yes, I don't think it needs to come to full council. Yeah, okay. The second survey then is a government survey on the protection of public recreational green spaces. So particularly to do with how playing fields are used, but other green spaces as well that could be used for recreation. And obviously there are other green spaces in the village, not just the playing fields. This is a more detailed survey with about 28 questions with many open free text boxes. So my recommendation here is perhaps the planning group have a little look and give a recommendation next time.
Leslie, when these surveys are put out to all of us, it's up to us whether we want to reply to one, isn't it?
Yes, whether we do it as a council.
This is a little bit long-winded, I think.
Okay, I'm just whether I'm highlighting it as to whether as a council we do it or whether as individuals. Some things are more appropriate as a council. The neighbourhood plan thing is more appropriate for the team. This particular one, it's whether we have a council stance or not. So this is a much more detailed survey, this particular one.
Would that come under neighbourhood plan as well, which results of the survey?
Not really, because it's to do with protections and whether you think that places are protected enough and how you find out how they're protected should you get a planning application in, for instance. which that's not neighbourhood plan, that's
That's
parish
all right,
council.
the planning, okay.
Mm. I mean, my recommendation is that our planning group have a look at it and give some recommendations next time. The deadline is the 13th of September, which is after our next meeting.
What date was that one sent, please, Lisa?
That was sent through on their bulletin dated the 6th of August. So I'll ask the planning members of the planning group to see how they feel about that one then. Okay. And that's it for me on the correspondence. Item 111, we will need to exclude the press and the public from this item. To consider a resolution under the Public Bodies Admissions to Meetings Act 1960 to exclude the press and public from the meeting for item 26. Should be 08112. Slight numbering issue there on the agenda. Due to the confidential nature of the business to be transacted as it is about